If My People Bible Reading, Part 111, 111, the book of Micah. Once again, uh, I really enjoy reading the minor prophets because I was denied, following my Sunday school teacher's advice, of all the churches I attended: Methodist, United Methodist, Southern Baptist, Baptist, First Baptist, Second Baptist, Pentecostal, Assembly of God, Lutheran, uh, Church of Christ. All of them, I went through every procedure, which I had to, on every one of them, to join their church. I had to be baptized, I don't know how many times. Plus, I was christened, which, of course, I did remember. I think I was 3 weeks old. Don't remember that. But anyway, um, I'm glad my parents understood. Christian just means I was offered up to Yahweh. I wasn't saved like some churches do. Are you kidding me? Um, but having gone through all that, and then getting on fire by the Name It and Claim It ministry that uh, unfortunately didn't sink in my head, because I did everything they said and did. I said and I accepted Jesus Christ as my Savior, and then that was the end of me. No one, and they just wandered off. Is this it? It must be it. So I seeked it on my own without good counsel, and without going to the Ruach every single day like I do now. And so, yeah, I was one of those sheepy sheeps until I was like 30 something. And I enjoyed it. And I had earthly fun with it. Okay. Then I ran into a number of books, and I ran into a number of people. Then I just started listening to the Ruach, and listening to that's giving you a soft voice, not the loud voice. Miss McDonald, who created the Rapture story back in the 1830. When you read her writings, she says directly this, and she let it. So in modern English, it would say, with a loud, pushing voice, shoving it down my throat, I finally listened to it. Well, that's not what the word says. The word says that it's a soft, quiet voice, not a loud, pushy, shovey voice. She finally accepted as the truth of what is rapture, pre-rapture, which the churches just picked up like candy. Like, oh boy, we are told by Yeshua that we will live and die in His name and carry a cross and suffer greatly. And Miss McDonald's come along saying, "Oh no, you don't. You just name it and claim it, and then whenever the something hits the fan, you'll be whooshed away into Never Never Land, and you don't have to actually suffer at all." Oh man. I took that stuff until I was in my middle 30s before I finally. And now I'm meeting young people at the appointed times, who are on fire and will remain on fire. You can tell they've got it hook, line, and sinker. They understand that soft, quiet voice, not my big loud in your face. I've been told to talk like this a little bit because I talk really low, and the microphone just doesn't pick it up. So people say, "Bruce, I can't hear what you're saying. I got the volume all the way up." And Marty says that too. I say, "All right, Marty, you're right." And Mary Jo says it right too. Okay. And Marty just wants to lay there and zone out, and he says he turns it on at night, and then he's probably asleep. I'm probably good at putting him to sleep. We are in chapter 3. Sorry, I wasted 4 minutes and 18 seconds. I'm sorry. Um, Part 11, If My People Bible Reading, part 111. So now we are in chapter 3, and then chapter 4 go together. So let's go to 4, verse 5. All the nations may walk in the name of their Elohims. We will walk in the name of Yahweh, our Elohim, forever and ever. Comment on what's happened so far in chapters 3, 4. This is not heaven on earth coming up in the millennium for all the nations. It is not. For Yahweh is perfect and just. He's a just Yahweh. He will always permit choice for everyone. He will never force you to do anything. There's going to be iron scepter rule. What's that mean? He's not going to beat you. You don't beat people with a scepter, okay? The Torah will be enforced with an iron scepter. Well, that means this is the way you're going to do it. These are my feasts and festivals. This is my royal Torah. This is my 10 commandments. This is my 1,050 commands in the new covenant I've given you that flow into the millennium, flow right into the millennium. And for those that don't want to do it, you will suffer. Those who do not follow the appointed times, Shabbats, rightly divided instruction, will suffer drought, loss of food, water, etc., rains. The hardest part of living in the millennium will be those who live and those who do not live in the presence of an awesome, loving, righteous Yeshua. His head shepherd, David, and the glory of the Father, they will no longer be confusion caused by today's ministers, pastors, church doctrine writers who have errantly and intentionally sinned, causing 30,000 church denominations to be created now. Money and greed and power is always usually the root of it. The sheep have allowed the churches to be filled with wolves. But in these days, it's black and white. It's right and wrong. No more blaming. These days, meaning the millennium. No more blaming someone else for your problems. If you do not hear and obey, listen and learn from the shepherds, fail to attend the appointed feast dates, follow Shabbats, you will suffer. Your land will suffer. Your family will suffer. Too bad. And that's the millennium. Now, we're living in a time right now where some of this stuff is going on right now. The Father goes through judgment constantly. You just got to open your eyes to see it. Verse 10, writhe or writhing in agony, O daughter of Zion, like a woman in labor, for now you must leave the city to camp in the open field. You will go to Babylon. There you will be rescued. There Yahweh will redeem you out of the hand of your enemies. Now he's talking about what's coming up in 30 years here. They're going to go to Babylon and they're going to come back 70 years later. But think again when you read it. We're in Babylon now. We're in Babylon now. Where's Babylon? It's not in Babylon, Iraq. Babylon would be any sinful city of a great number of people. So L.A., New York, San Francisco, woo-woo, Las Vegas, anywhere in the world where people are just like Sodom and Egypt. And who also is named Sodom and Egypt in the word right now, today, 2020? Jerusalem, Sodom and Egypt. It is not, quote, where Yahweh lives or where Yahweh is at. In the millennium, Jerusalem is where the people go. They do not go to the oblation sanctuary area where Yeshua, and if that's King David also with them, it doesn't matter to me. I'm not going to argue with all those camps left, forth, backwards, up and down. I'm not going to. I'm just saying it's very obvious that oblation area and the area north of that, of equal size to the oblation area, is the oblation sanctuary area for the Levites. So the Levites have a lot of stuff going on. So the tribe of Judah, very important within that tribe, is Levites, and their things, they're not put in a do nothing situation anymore. They've got something to do, but they're for the Father. It's the 144,000 of the 12 tribes. They are there for the sheep. They're not there for the wolves. They're not going to sit there and say, well, I know you've been a wolf your whole life, but come on in here and we'll throw some water on you and heal you. That's what's going on now. That's called socialism. Period. That's what that is. And when you hate God, that's called communism. And when you live in a government where you hate God and you don't allow him in anything, you don't have any respect whatsoever for Yeshua or Yahweh at all. That's social communism. Well, do you know a party that... Don't even want to go down that road. It is so obvious, but Christians who are both Democrat and Republican, I know a lot of Catholics who vote always Democrat. Okay, so you're a Catholic and you're not following the Pope's instructions, who's a perfect seer of Yahweh, according to him and the cardinals, that this Pope can see everything and know everything and gives nothing but perfect godly commands and bulls, instructions, bulls. Yeah, there's a name we call after bull, and it's bull something. Holy smokes. And yet you vote, when you vote Democratic, 100% on your ticket, you're voting for abortion. Don't think your church is going to get out of this just because you call yourself Catholic, which means universal church, the one world church. You catch that one? Which is like so obvious, like zoom, it goes right past most people that call themselves Catholics. Get out of her. Get out of her. Come out of her, my people. Yahweh says that. He's not talking about the world. He's talking about getting out of the false churches, the synagogues of Satan. And no, that's not Jewish. Get out of those synagogues, Christian, church, satanic behaviors. All right. Anything that takes away the Word and the Father is satanic. Anything that slanders it and twists it and turns it, just like the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, that is Torah. But somebody got into it, messed with it. That's why we argue, fuss, and fight today over law, and we keep adding law on top of law. That's exactly. And I know my brother said for years that he thought that, that the tree of knowledge of good and evil today is the internet. Well, that is a great thing, and the internet is a mess. If it wasn't for pornography, the internet wouldn't have gotten popular and so expensively rich fast. But it's not just about pornography. You're looking at me now. That's the internet. And so rightfully divide the word. Don't trust a thing I say. Test everything. Let's keep going. We got time. We are in chapter 5, verse 10. In that day. Now, how many times have I told you? In that day, the day of the Lord. What is the day of Adonai? That is the return of him. How long is it? Yeah, it's 24 hours. Is it 24 hours only? No, it's not. It's a time period that will go through and end the tribulation period. And the day of the Lord, he will be here with us, dwelling with us during the millennium. So it's a day, it's an end time period for a couple years, and it's 1,000 years after that. And then for the rest of our life, we will be in the day of the Lord. The rest forever and ever and ever in kingdom with united bodies. It will be the day of Adonai. We are in his day. What do we mean by that? Day means sunlight. We will be in his light forever. Are we in that now? No. There are some church sects that say we are. Wow. Okay, read the word. Then you might figure it out. In that day, declares Yahweh, I will destroy your horses among you and demolish your chariots. Transportation. It's not a good time to be getting in the transportation business. Okay. I will destroy your witchcraft, and you no longer cast spells. Pharmacies, big pharma, today. That's what it means today. I apply the Bible study that we do to today. What can I do today and tomorrow? Because I worked emergency management for 40 years, and I really feel comfortable with knowing what is going to happen tomorrow because I plan for it. I plan for the worst, and if I don't ever do anything I plan for in my emergency supplies or anything else I have, that's just great. I'm happy about that. 13, I will destroy your carved images and your sacred stones. Anything you make an idol, anything that comes between you and the Father is an idol. I will uproot from among you your Asherah poles and demolish your cities. Not a good time to be living in the cities, as you've noticed in the last 6 months. And DNA is going to be manipulated through Big Pharma and your Asherah poles, which is all about death. Ring around the rosy, pockets full of posy, ashes, ashes, all fall down. You ever hear that song? You know what it's about? It's about death. It was done during the Dark Ages, during the bubonic plague. There were so many people, and they all danced around because they knew all these people went to heaven. They hoped they did. And they all danced around and celebrated the death of their loved ones from the piles and piles of people who died that night. The mothers and fathers made up these things to keep the children entertained. Hey, I'll see you at the next 15 minutes, and we'll be starting at the end of chapter 5, beginning chapter 6. Okay? Love you guys. Hey, Marty.